Welcome to Happier ADHD. My name's Marley Darling. I'm a second generation neurodiversity expert with over 17 years experience, and now I'm raising my own neurodiverse kids. You'll notice that I call the podcast a few different things, but we always explore these same topics that I've been looking at for the last 17 years. Psychology, mindset, neurodiversity, personal development, health and well-being, business, parenting, and more. So, without further ado, let's jump in. Hello and welcome to the ADHD Energy Empress podcast. My name's Marley Darling. I'm a single, full-time homeschooling parent to 2 kids, and all 3 of us are on the autism spectrum and have ADHD. I've spent 17 years studying psychology, neuroscience, and neurodiversity, and figuring out what is really at the core of things, what small little shifts have massive impact, and how we can use a more positive, empowering mindset and attitude towards ADHD. Today, on my mind this week, it's really been focused on the passing of my nan, and I had to up and go and drive 4.5 hours to her funeral and to her house, and we celebrated her life, and then we started packing up her life. So there were a lot of emotions. I was reminded that when you open up to family, then people open back up to you. I learnt this in the last year or so with my friends, that the more you open up and make yourself vulnerable and feel comfortable, the closer you feel to other people. So I realized that my family is there. As much as I've kind of distanced myself and removed myself from obligation, it was really lovely to see extended family members that I don't see very often. So that was very interesting, and it was nice to have some celebratory times as well. My nan's funeral was held on the same day as what would have been her 83rd birthday, and we all went out for dinner to celebrate my nan. Then the following night, we all came together again to have dinner together, and then we did a classic thing that we used to do, which is wait till dusk and go and spot the fairy penguins. And it was a full moon, and it was really, really special to just see these glimpses in the dark of a little herd of fairy penguins with the full moonlight shining on their back and hearing their calls. It was very, very special. And I did some other quintessential Nan's house things as well, like raid her veggie garden and ride around in the street. We used to ride on bikes, but my daughter and I rode around on a scooter. That was for old time's sake for me. And I looked through old family photos, which was super, super special. There was a page I found that was handwritten by my great-grandparents, and it was really good condition. It's written in paper and pencil, and it's still like excellent condition, which is super interesting. And there are photos of my nan as a baby with my great nan, and there's even a photo of my great nan. My great nan, my nan's nan, in perfect condition. And I got to see my great nan and pa on my pa's side as well. And I shared some of those photos with my friends, and they were saying they can see the resemblance in me and my girls. And that got me thinking about how much we carry on through our lineage. And it was interesting to hear all the stories about my nan and see just how similar she looked to me, and kind of think about how our lives are all different, and it almost felt as though my grandparents are some sort of version of me that just lived earlier on and had a completely different life, but we had overlapping lives. And the things that get carried down from my nan will definitely be cooking and gardening, and my own daughter loves that as well. So my dad really enjoyed that he got to spend time with his granddaughter doing those things, and that's going to be passed on. So that's what's really been on my mind this week. It's been a big week and an interesting week. In terms of breakthroughs, last Monday, the one other thing really that happened this week was that we went on our very first sleepover. My girls don't do sleepovers. They have attachment issues, and then I have the issue of I don't want them to, and I don't know how they'll cope, and they feel like they'll need me there. So I got to go on the sleepover too. So me and two of my mum friends were at this sleepover, and there was a bunch of kids, and I just love the energy of like birthday parties and sleepovers and just kids playing happily together. So I loved being there, but kind of removed from the action, just hearing the kids have fun and watching them have fun while I got to chat with my friends and have cups of tea and have a laugh and make some jokes. So that was really lovely. And then to wake up in the morning and have more tea. My friend that the house we stayed at, she is British, so it's classic to have tea. Had 4 cups of tea while being there. And my kids had lots of fun and they got to have a sleepover. So it all worked out. It was the perfect way to do it that everyone was happy with. And one thing that was super lovely is that my older daughter loves to listen to a meditation every night, an Elvaria meditation, which are the ones that I've created. And there are 52 of them on YouTube. And when my daughter put that on, all the other kids hushed down and wanted to listen to the meditation as well. So I felt super honored to have a room full of like 10 children all listening to this story, and they were like shushing each other so that they could hear what was going on. And when it first started, one of the girls said, "Marley, is this you?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And she just was like, "Oh, okay." That was cool. I feel honoured, absolutely honoured. I love to hear that children are enjoying something that I created. That's an amazing, amazing feeling. And if you've got kids, feel free to check those out on YouTube. Elvaria is spelled Elvaria. And they're magical little meditations, and I infuse it with positive mindset and empowering beliefs and things like that in a subtle way that's not at all preachy or teachy. And there's little animals and fairies, and I just love it. I love it, love it, love it. It's like my inner child speaking through. So that's the breakthrough for this week. The struggle, I guess, was all the driving. Oh my goodness, for us to drive this 4.5 hour drive with stops on the way, it took maybe 6 hours on the way up, and that was with these brief little stops just to refresh my brain. And I felt like I was really pushing through. So on the way back, we had some bigger stops, and it ended up taking, let me think. So on the way back, it was 8 hours, but I decided to have bigger rest stops, and I was lucky enough to stop at a relative's house who has a lovely swim spa in a beautiful pool house, I think I would call it. She has a swim spa and a normal spa and a sauna. And that was so much fun, having a swim with the kids and using the jets, and there's lots of toys, and there's 2 really big jets in the middle that you're meant to like practice swimming against. But for us, we got on the bodyboards and used it like a slide sort of thing, like it would push you to the other end of the pool, and that was super fun and just lovely to have a rest stop there and break up the drive a little bit. And she has lovely interior design and plants around and art, so it was really nice to break up the drive like that. And then I did one more stop, which was cold and windy and not very fun. But oh my god, it's just so hard for one person to do that much driving, but some people love it as well. There are different types of people, like Gretchen Rubin talks about. Sometimes if you enjoy something, you think everyone will, and if you don't enjoy it, you think people are crazy if they do enjoy it. But I acknowledge there are different types of people, and driving long distances like that is just not for me. So yeah, that was my struggle for this week, but I'm so glad I did that and made those memories with my family. My hack for this week, I guess I'm going to say exercise. I found it a bit tough adjusting to coming back home, and sometimes I get a lot of frantic energy and clean a lot and get a bit manic and rearrange things, and This time I just caught up on some jobs that needed doing, but this morning the first thing I did, after faffing around for a little while I think, was to hop on the treadmill and do some exercise and get that emotion and mood out. There's a lot of emotion from the last few days, and also just the adjusting from being around people to being alone again. I'm alone with my children, but it's still adulting alone. So it was good to get that frustration out on the treadmill, and it meant that I actually exercised for longer as well, and I jogged for longer. I'm increasing my cardio, and I think I did it for the most I've done it today, and I'm feeling like, wow, I can actually jog now, like not for a long amount of time, but I can see how my fitness is increasing, and it's happening quite quickly, especially considering that I didn't exercise for quite a few days. So don't underestimate the power of little steps and progress, and that tortoise mindset, that is my word for the year, is just make progress, just keep plodding along, and then you will notice the difference, and things will happen and change will happen. And what's the book? Atomic Habits is an excellent book about habits, and he has the statistics of if you do something every day, you get incremental change. It's not just one thing. It increases. So like I'm saying with my cardio, it increases the capacity, and any habit that you do, you'll create incremental change over the year, and it all adds up. The story for this week, I'm not sure. I've just shared a few little stories. How about I share this irrelevant little story that when we were at the sleepover, I overheard one of the girls asking the others if she should set her alarm for 5:50 in the morning. And I overheard, and I said, no way, don't you dare do that. I'm going to go and tell the host. So I went and told my friend, because, she was the boss in this situation. And she said, no way, don't you dare do that, turn it off. And the girl showed us, and we made sure her alarm was off. And then at 4:25 in the morning, guess what sound we hear? Not an alarm clock. We heard a rooster. And this rooster started crowing every few minutes or whatever. There was a bit of a pause between. And after 4 crows, I was fully awake, and I heard whispering, and all the girls were awake. And so I popped my head out the door because I was sleeping in the nearest room. And I just said, girls, just so you know, it's 4:25 in the morning. It's still very much nighttime. And I know the rooster's just woken us all up, but can we please try and go back to sleep? And thank God they all went back to sleep, because that would have been an early time to wake up. And the rooster kept crowing incrementally throughout the morning, but I dozed through it, and I assume they were dozing through it as well, until at 6:30 they all woke up properly, and the rooster kept crowing until about 9. And so our host came in, and she said, shh, it's only 6:30 in the morning. It's 6:30 and other people are sleeping. You need to be quiet. And so she not complained, but, jokingly complained a few times that it was quite early. And I jokingly complained back, well, thank God for me telling them to go back to sleep at 4:25. Otherwise, it would have been even more early. But the end of the story is, guess whose rooster it was? Yes, it was our host's rooster, and she had completely forgotten that it exists. She knew that it exists, but she forgot that it crows because she's so used to it. So that's just a funny little story that's irrelevant to neurodiversity, I guess. Maybe it's linked to psychology, because if you're familiar with something, you don't notice it. But that's just a fun story for you. Now to life check-in. Well, let's see. In parenting, we're having a rest day today, and I'm trying to encourage my kids back into life activities rather than just full tech. It's a little bit tricky because one of my daughters has a cold, so we can't actually go out and do anything, but it's a beautiful sunny day, so we'll do some art and board games and still just take it easy, read some books, let her have some tech as well. Just, finding that balance and letting go a little bit with the aim, like a tortoise, of moving forward towards the desired outcome, which is getting back into our everyday balance. With home, I've taken care of a few of the jobs. I asked if anyone would help me water the plants with the drink bottle water so I could wash all the drink bottles. My youngest daughter cheerily offered to help. She likes doing that job. She likes caring for plants, and I really appreciated that enthusiasm to help and recognize that I'm washing their drink bottles, so it's nice to be able to help me as well. Also, when she asked me this morning to have her smoothie in a silly squeeze, she said, I'd like to have it in the silly squeeze, but I acknowledge that you're tired, Mum, because there's a lot going on, so I don't mind if that's not okay. And I said, look, you can tell me you'd like that, and maybe just check in and say if you feel up to it, because I'm happy to do it. I have the energy right now, and I'm happy to clean it. But I really, really appreciate the consideration and being acknowledged like that. And that was really lovely. My daughter's only 7, and she does seem to have a little bit more social awareness, just in terms of that consideration and empathy, than my older daughter does, at least when she's regulated. I think my older daughter, I don't know, it's hard to compare and hard to psychoanalyze. I'm not going to go into it too deep. But my older daughter today was really polite as well. She asked for something politely. She thanked me straight away. And that was the whole exchange. There was no prompting or anything like that. So that was really lovely as well. And again, I acknowledged and told her that I really appreciate that. And that was really lovely, the way that she said that. And using that positive praise in a way that's just really forward, casual feedback like that, rather than like, good girl, or something like that. I really appreciate, or prefer, I don't want to say the word appreciate too many times to you guys, but I really prefer that personalized, direct feedback that doesn't seem like it's necessarily praise, but it will still come across as praise to their brain, and then they're more likely to do it again in future because they've had a positive reaction from it. In business and productivity, that's been on the back burner of my brain, but I did kind of start listening back to a few podcasts I used to listen to that really really got me into an inspiring mood for business. And I'm not super back into listening to them, but there's that little spark there as well, because I really want to be focusing on my kids and have anything that I do be integrated into my life, because I've had that split where I've been really trying to live 2 lives at once and it just doesn't work. So moving forward, and with those tortoise steps, focusing on this business that relates to the children and our neurodiversity and fits into our life and talks about our life and really feels more, what's the word where things come together and it's not ingrained, but cohesive, a lot more cohesive. And I really like to live a cohesive sort of life. So doing that and doing art. I don't have a hack to share with you. That's just a little update. In media this week, I finished Iris Kelly Doesn't Date, and I started a random book I saw called Mr. Wrong Number. I don't think it's super good quality, but it's just something to read until I get the next better quality book. I like to have a rom-com on the go. I was inspired to start Life in 5 Senses. I picked it up. I looked at where I was up to, because apparently I've read the first chapter, and then I looked at the first page because I wanted to restart the first chapter, but it seems like a bit of a slow intro and I don't always like rereading, so I still plan to do it. I'll get into that. In TV shows, I kind of got bored of Up Here. I watched the first 2 episodes, then I tried Life and Beth and got kind of bored of that in the second episode as well. I like something to be kind of fun and interesting. Then I started watching Only Murders in the Building, and I love it. I love the actors. I love the setting. It's really beautiful, the building that they're in. I love the way it's written and the quality. It's a good quality production. The writing's really good. There's some funny bits. It's intriguing. There's a mystery. The thing I didn't like is a bit of the gruesome visuals, or, you know, obviously it's about murder. And those images are in my head now, which I find really difficult, because why can my brain hold on to these not nice images or stories? Like, I am aware of negative things that happened 20 years ago because my brain implanted them, but then the positive things don't get implanted as well as the negative things. And just to go into the psychology and neuroscience of that, when something has a really strong emotion, it gets turned into a memory in a stronger and faster way. And the way that we can ingrain memories more is to really notice in the moment what's around us, use our senses, take a mental note. Like when you say take a mental picture, actually do that. Look at, like I said the other day, the penguins. When I was there, I did this, and I saw the full moon with, it was over the water, and that stairway to heaven that the moon does, and my family members sitting in front of me and beside me on the beach, and behind us the bushes, and then the rocks in front of us, and the penguins twinkling in the moonlight. My children sitting there on the other side of me, trying to stay quiet and still, and scratching at the sand. And that memory is in there. So sometimes it can take a bit more work to ingrain the happy memories and the more positive ones, and sometimes to let go and to not let the negative ones ingrain so much as well. You can regulate your nervous system in the moment and trying to just let it go. But I'm trying to find that balance between watching this TV show without having nightmares, basically, or plugging things into my brain that will stay there, because I really like how it's produced. And if it wasn't about murder, but it had a similar sort of vibe and connection between the characters and production quality and setting and stuff, I would still really like it. So that's what I'm attempting to do at the moment. I do want to share a little extra story, actually. When we left the beach at the other night, my children had tried so hard to be quiet. They couldn't help moving and playing with the sand and talking. And afterwards they said, my older daughter said, gee, it's really hard to sit still and be quiet when you have ADHD. And my other daughter said, and autism. I am autistic and ADHD. And I told my older daughter that it's really positive. Like, it's really good that she can acknowledge what was going on for herself like that, and the limitations. And it is really hard when you've got these expectations on you that you can't do. And my younger daughter said she was just kind of scratching at the sand, and even that made noise, but she was trying to have a sort of fidget toy. And I thought that's level of self-awareness and introspection from my kids was really impressive. And the fact that they said that afterwards and expressed it, and then we could have a little chat about that, and I could apologize that it was a difficult situation, but also reinforce that they did the best that they could. And we scared the penguins a little bit, but we still got to see them, and that was great. And then we left so that we didn't scare them for too long and they could get on with their lives. So that was really interesting, positive experience as well. I was really impressed with that. This week, what I'm letting go of is really the house a little bit, because we're going to be going away so many times. I'm just doing what we can and not letting it stress me, and just kind of plodding along, prioritizing the more urgent, important things rather than the less urgent and less important things. And the focus this week is to be enjoying time with my kids, enjoying time out, just look after myself and my emotional regulation with all these little getaways coming up. It takes a lot of mental effort, executive functioning, and adulting to get them to happen, and also to be supporting my family and processing everything that's going on with my nan, because that's really hard for that side of the family. And in gratitude this week, I'm grateful for the time with my family and for reliving some old memories and really appreciating some things from my childhood, and back to letting go of something. What I'm letting go of is all that whole chapter of our lives of having the cousins all come together on Easter and Christmas at this family home that's been in the family for 50 years, and such a place that holds such memories and is so comforting. And hopefully I get to have one last trip there, otherwise that's the letting go of that. And I'm just grateful to have this process, I guess. I'm really grateful as well, I didn't mention, but my nan passed hopefully peacefully in her sleep. It was her time, and she was buried with my pa, who died 17 years ago. And I'm glad that she can rest in peace and be reunited with him. And I think that's really, really impressive to have a lifelong dedication to a person like that. And they were together for a very long time. Must have been 70 years ago that they met. So that's pretty beautiful. I'm so grateful. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for the photos and the history that's been kept. Seeing my pa as a child and my nan as a baby, and then seeing pictures of my nonna and my great nonna is absolutely amazing. I'm so grateful for whoever took those photos, and even some newer ones as well. There's one from 1994 of all the family together, my nan, my pa, their 4 kids, their 4 kids' partners, and all my cousins down at the beach. And we're all, in kind of a line or 2 lines or 3 lines, all posed up for a photo. I'm really grateful for whoever took an old school camera down to the beach with an old school tripod and set it up so that we could have a whole family photo. And I think it's really important not to underestimate photos. I have thousands and thousands of photos of my kids, but the most special ones are probably of us together. But all of them are special, and photos are really to be treasured. You might not treasure them at the time, but you will in 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, or especially if you lose someone, like we lost someone suddenly last year, and then you have limited photos, and having videos is amazing too. If you can hear someone's voice again, you don't know how special that is. And along the same lines as well, having something that smells like them is really amazing. Those are my little hacks and tips for preparing for losing someone and dealing with losing someone and holding memories of someone. So look after your memories, keep them safe, keep them special, back up your hard drives. That's a little to-do for the week. Maybe I'll add a little to-do at the end. I backed up my laptop this week. Go and back up your photos. They are special and to be treasured. And I lost some of when my daughter was little, and I don't think I have any photos from before my daughter was little because I lost my photos of myself. And that's memories lost. Everything's stored in our brain, but especially when you're neurodiverse, accessing memories is difficult, and photos are amazing to trigger a memory and take you back to a certain time and place. They're absolutely incredible, and definitely appreciate and value them. That's the lesson of the week, guys. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great week. I hope you look after each other. I hope you appreciate everything positive that's going on with your life. And I hope you keep plodding along like a tortoise towards your hopes and dreams. And a little quote that's related to that is to love your life now while you move in the direction of your dreams. I'll see you next week. Bye. So you've got neurodiverse kids in your life. You've probably noticed that they don't respond well to traditional parenting techniques or discipline or ways to get them motivated or to comply. Maybe you're tearing your hair out with stress and the same old struggles and fights and arguments every single day. Or perhaps you're feeling completely lost because you've tried absolutely everything and it just doesn't seem to work. These kids do not respond to behavior charts. They don't respond to power being asserted over them. What these kids need is something completely different. And what I'm going to suggest to you is you actually stop trying to change them. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. And you cannot change these children. You cannot control their behavior. But if you change something around them, you change their environment, you change how you act, it will change how they react, it will change how they respond. If you change something, then no longer will you be stuck in this cycle of doing what you've always done and getting what you've always got. And those traditional methods do not work. So stop wasting your time and energy on them. I know you're looking for a solution and you feel like it's just not possible anymore, but let me tell you, I was in the exact same boat, and then I realized what we need is to do something radically different. My approach is to change the environment around them and to change how you interact with them, and that will have the biggest impact. It'll stop you feeling like your head is butting up against a wall, and it will start actually creating change with less effort. I believe in small, easy to implement shifts that create big change. So if you're interested in seeing what I have to offer, head over to marleydarling.com, and I've got a free webinar there for you to check out, and then comprehensive programs that cover everything I've learned in over a decade of parenting neurodiverse kids, and also in being a neurodiverse person myself who's been studying neurodiversity for over 17 years. I'm here to help you. I'm here to give a different approach, and I wholeheartedly believe that we need a radically different approach to support these children, to empower them to live the best lives possible, and to give you a bit of a break as the parent. So head on over to marleydarling.com, where you can find some free resources and maybe check out my comprehensive programs if you're ready to see a massive difference in your life through just some small shifts. See you there.